you doing? It's Thursday. We're so close to the weekend. And I'm usually fairly excited about the weekend. And I actually am pretty excited about this weekend because the Super Bowl is this weekend. And yes, hello. But as far as like the weekend being here already, I'm not done. I'm not done with my week yet. I still have so much stuff to do. And the fact that tomorrow is Friday is really stressing me out. Like, I'm normally really pumped up. I'm like, yay, it's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. Hi, Katie. Hi, Anita. But right now I'm like, oh gosh, tomorrow's Friday. There's so much to do. So much to do. And I am not getting nearly enough of it done in time. But you know what? It is what it is. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way when they get to the end of the week sometimes. Like, sometimes the weekend is a blessing and sometimes the weekend comes so fast and you're like, wait, slow down. That's this week. So I just got done unboxing a shipment that I got of some vintage beads. I'm super excited about that because a friend of mine sent these to me. And she was just kind of cleaning out and she sent me some vintage goodies. And I haven't really had a whole lot of time to look through them yet. I literally just opened the boxes, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of fun things that we can use to put in our projects and maybe put in some little kits that I can put in the shop for you guys. So it is good news all the way around with that. I like that. That's fun. And who doesn't love to get beads, right? I love to get beads. So, you know, having some little vintage goodies, that's kind of cool. So yeah, just keep looking over here at my stack of stuff and I'm like, oh, can't wait to play with that. And unfortunately I have so many other things going on. I need to like do the other things and not play with the beads, but it's so hard. It's so hard to stay on track. I love vintage beads too. Yes. Aloha. Go Chiefs. Yes. Yes. We're counting down the days. So close. We're so close. And I ordered myself, you guys know the sparkle bracelets that we put together that I got from Candy's shop to show you guys? Well, I found a supplier because, you know, Candy's not always going to be able to carry those because Swarovski is, you know, doing its whole thing. But I found a supplier that had some of the open or the bracelet blanks. And so I got a bracelet blank and then I just ordered Chiefs colors for the little Swarovski stones to put in there. So it's not going to be here in time for the Super Bowl, but I wish it would. I wish it would so I could wear my my sparkle bracelet in my Chiefs colors. Oh, golly. So good to see you guys. So many of you coming in. I'm so happy to see you guys. Makes me happy. I'm just watching as everybody kind of comes in. It tells me like the names and like, sometimes it doesn't tell me all the names, right? Sometimes I have people watching that I have no idea that are watching. Not a clue. Not a clue. But, you know, who knows? Maybe there's some famous person out there watching. I doubt it. But yeah, hey, if you're famous and you're watching my jewelry making videos, have your people call my people. I don't really have any people, so you're just gonna have to Facebook message me. But let's work something out. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's talk about today's project now that everybody is kind of filing in. So we've been working on pearls and pearl knotting for the last little bit. We've actually been working on this. This is the end of week 2. And I will tell you, tomorrow's project, just a little heads up, tomorrow's project is not pearls, nor is it knotting. I'll talk about that some more here in a little bit because tomorrow's Feel Good Friday, right? But if you are still wanting to learn about pearls, we've got one more project, and this won't be the only project we ever do with knotting, but this is, I might be surprised. I wish. I wish. But this project was, again, a request that's the tin cup style. So for those of you who don't know what tin cup style is, there was this movie that came out a while ago. Gosh, who was the main person in the movie? I cannot remember what her name was. I want to say Anne something, but I don't think that that's right. I can't remember. Somebody out there knows. But in Tin Cup, she had on this pearl necklace that everybody went crazy over. And the necklace was pearls, but they were separated apart. So it wasn't just a pearl necklace where it was a straight line of pearls, right? There was spaces in between there. And that's kind of where the name Tin Cup style came from. Rene Russo, that's what it was. Thank you, Ruth. That's where that whole look came from. And then people took it and went like all over the place with it. So the Tin Cup style kind of varies. There is a lot of different ways that you can do it. We're going to do it with knotting just because that makes it, I forgot to get a straw. That makes it darn, what am I going to be able to use? Okay, hold on. I'm having to think about two different things at the same time here. But it makes it really pretty to do it with the knotter tool. And so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to show you how to make it super, super easy, because Beadalon came up with these little things. I don't know if you guys have seen these or not. I'm going to show you how to use these. These are little spacers that you actually slide onto your silk cord. And it helps you to space out where your knots are going to be placed. So you knot up against this just like you would a bead, which is genius in my opinion. But if you don't have these and you want to make, this style, go get your straw. I'm going to have to here in just a second. So if you don't have these, you can use a straw and you just cut the straw. I don't even know where my straws are, people. You can cut a straw that is the same length as whatever the spaces that you need, and you can use that instead, and it works really well too. These guys don't tend to wiggle nearly as much as a straw does, so sometimes the straw kind of throws your measurements off just a little bit. But I mean, if you're in a pinch and you've got a straw, a coffee straw really is probably the best way to go. But if you don't have, a coffee straw or a regular straw, somebody please pass me a straw, says Donna. Straw, please. So maybe we won't do it with straws. We'll just talk about it. I'm so unprepared today. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to put this together, and we're going to be using. I'm going to use these coin pearls, and I'm gonna put some Chinese crystals on either side of the pearls just for a pop of color. But you can do this with literally anything. It doesn't have to be pearls, right? You don't have to do pearls. In fact, all of the techniques with the pearls that we've talked about in the past 2 weeks, you don't have to use your pearls at all for these. You can use your check glass beads. You can use your regular glass beads. You can use your acrylic beads. You can use whatever you want. The only thing that you have to be conscious of is the hole of the bead versus the size of the silk or the other cord that you're going to be using, because you don't have to even use the silk cord, right? You can use B-Lon, C-Lon, S-Lon, all of the lons. You can use those. You can use cotton cord. You can use literally whatever you want to, but you want to be sure that if you're using a bead that has a larger hole, that you're going to put on either side of that bead a smaller bead with a smaller hole so that your knots don't slip in. Do you see what I'm saying? Unless you can go with a really thick, chunky cord to knot with. Now I need to see how the straw trick works. Of course you do, because I don't have a straw. And I hadn't said anything about it. Oh, Janelda, I'm going to let you down, my friend. All right, so before we get to the project, I do want to mention a couple of things before we get started. So number one, tomorrow is Feel Good Friday, which means, yay, we're gonna have super easy, fun projects. What makes tomorrow's even better is that I've got kits for tomorrow. I'm so excited, and they are super affordable. So we're gonna do 3 earring designs tomorrow. They're gonna be super easy, but super cute, and I have the kits to recreate them. I'll be putting those in my Etsy shop. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, okay? They're gonna be Valentine's Day inspired projects because Valentine's Day is coming up. And I realize that you may not get the project in time for Valentine's Day, but let's be completely honest, you can wear hearts all year long, right? And I've actually taken that into consideration when I picked out bead colors, okay? So yay, I'm excited about that for tomorrow. And like I said, they're super, super affordable. These are not expensive kits, guys. These are just fun little, you know, they're sort of like that necklace that we did, the patina necklace. So I always want to, like, sometimes I'm going to offer you guys some higher priced kits, but for the most part, I just want us to all be able to have fun together, right? And if I can make a little side hustle with it, then great. But I'm not ever going to, like, you know, give you guys a $50 kit. I promise. Well, I don't promise. Maybe one day, right? But baby steps, baby steps. Let's be real. Nobody can afford that right now. I can't afford that right now. So, you know, I'm just saying. Regular people, right? Regular people here, regular people there. If you're not regular people, have your people call my people. Send me some people first. Okay, wow. Going on a tangent. Okay, second. The second thing that I want to mention is what next week's projects are going to be, just kind of giving you a heads up to those. Don't know what this is about. So, a friend of mine, Marcia, one of our live wires, has asked me, to do a project, something that she was kind of struggling with, which was a tassel project that she found on a website that had instructions, and the instructions, she couldn't make heads or tails of the instructions. And when I read the instructions, I couldn't make heads or tails of it. And so I told her, you know what, let's just make it a project. So I believe I'm going to do that on Tuesday. I think for Tuesday, we're going to be doing a tassel necklace, and it's not going to be a hard project, but it's definitely one of those that I feel like is going to answer a lot of questions that people may be having. So that's what our plan is for Tuesday. And then Thursday of next week, I think I'm going to do a jewel loom bracelet, because that was another question Miss Katie Mann had asked me about, a project on the jewel loom using some larger beads. So I think that's what we're looking at for next week. If there are any changes, I'll definitely let you know. But what I want you to know more than anything is that when you send me project requests, I love it, especially if I can deliver on it. So if you've got, you know, if you've got suggestions, please send them to me. I am always happy to work that in when I can, because sometimes I get creative block and I just don't know what to make, you guys. So I love it when you've got problems that I can help solve. Okay. All right. So let's get down to business. I don't have a straw, but we will talk about how to do. Actually, you know what? I can turn you guys around, let you look at the beads for a second, and then I can run over here and get a straw. But I can't do it while the camera's on me, because then you guys will see that I have on my pajama pants. So let me turn you around. Oh, goodness. Okay, hold on. I know you guys don't care that I have my pajama pants on, but I mean, you know, sometimes when a girl's got on her pajama pants and she's covered in dog hair, she just doesn't want you to see that side of her. Okay, hold on. Aha, straws. Yay! Okay. All right, guys, I found a package of straws. Hooray! So we don't need all of these, but all right, let me put my microphone back on. Now that I've told you, you already know. Yes, you do, but you didn't see it. And that's the part, that's the real part, right? It's one thing to, like, imagine me in my pajama pants. It's another thing to, like, actually see me in my pajama pants. And it's not just the pajama pants. It's, you know, it's the layer of golden retriever hair that is, you know, from the knees down. Okay. So these are the pearl beads that I'm going to be using for the project today. I don't know how long, I wish this would move. I really don't know how long this necklace is going to end up being, but I've got a feeling that it's going to be a pretty lengthy necklace, which is really what I'm going for this type of project. That being said, you can make yours whatever length you want to, okay? This is super, super simple. So you guys are you're gonna take this and run with it. Any pants are better than no pants, says Kathleen. This is true, but I know better than to come in here without any pants on, just for the fact that sometimes I forget my straws. So, all right. These are the crystals that I'm using. I think I got these from Dollar Bead Box, or no, not Dollar Bead Box, Bargain Bead Box. I'm fairly certain. I think this was just an extra buy. I don't think it was part of one of their kits, but you know, I don't know. They're just pretty. And I thought that blue would be a really good kind of pop next to the iridescent coin pearls here. So as far as beads, that's what I'm going to be using, but you can use whatever combination or just a single bead instead of a bunch of beads, right? I'm going to be using my silk cord. I'm going to use the number 8. Fingers crossed that the number 8, all of our beads are going to fit on the 8. I'm fairly certain that they will, but you know, I say that. What's the saying? Man plans and God laughs. That's kind of how my life goes. So yeah. All right. I'm going to take all my silk off off of the card. And then I'm going to show you these little spacer guys. And you guys have already seen the knotter tool, so you know that's what's coming, right? Okay. So there's our silk cord. Okay. And the little spacers, they say not a bead on one side, and then on the other side, they have a measurement. So these are a 1/2 inch, and this one is 3/4 of an inch. Okay. And these are probably the most standard sizes for spacing. But if this is not the size that you're looking for, you definitely can, you can use a straw instead. And, you know, a straw is going to work. You can definitely, you know, you can make it 1 inch, 2 inches. You know, when you're cutting your own materials, you can make them whatever you want them to be. But they have a little, I know you can't see it, but they have a slit down the center. That's where we're going to slide it onto our silk cord to make our spaces, right? And it's that foam stuff, so it's not going to damage your stringing material, whatever your stringing material is. That being said, you can use these on any number of stringing materials. So no problems there, okay? You're gonna need your knotter tool. You're gonna need a little bit of hypo cement, and then you're gonna need some findings. And as far as the findings are concerned, excuse me, I've just got a lobster clasp and some jump rings, but we're going to be using the little clam shells today. And I just brought my little box of clam shells over here so we could dig through them and find the ones that I want. These are I think these are the ones I want. So the little clam shells for you guys, see if I can find a different kind. Okay, so the clam shells come in a couple of different styles. So some of them, whoops, some of them, and you can see it looks like a little clamshell. That's why that's what they're called. Okay. And they do have a technical name. I don't know what the name of it is. But I just call them that. And everybody seems to know that that's what I mean. But some of them are shaped this way with a hook, and they've got a hole so that you can thread them onto your materials, right? And then you close them over your knot, you close them over your crimp, whatever it is that you're going to be using. And then you take your round nose pliers to close up this loop, and that's your connection. That's the style that we're going to be using today, but they also come in this style, which is very similar, but instead of having that hook on them, they already have a little loop. And some people find these to be a little bit more trustworthy, right? Because your loop can always come undone. Whereas with these guys, you're pretty safe. I have seen these that have the loop on either side, which I like the best, to be completely honest with you. I like it if there is a loop on this side and a loop on this side, so that when you close them, the two loops come together. And when you put your jump ring through there, it gives them extra insurance. They're really hard to find though. I have not seen any of them in a while. To be honest, I haven't shopped for these in quite some time either. I have, you know, my own little stash here, but if you're shopping for them and you're looking for the best ones to use, just know that there are pretty much 3 different kinds that you can find. Okay. All right. So that's going to be our hardware for our project. And that's pretty much it. Like, this is going to be easy peasy. For the most part, we're just going to be chatting as I knot these beads up. Let's go ahead though and cut a straw so that you can kind of understand how the straw is going to work. I'm not a huge fan of using a large straw, but we're going to try to make it work. So I'm going to make my straw the 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. You can use a ruler if you want to. You guys know how I am about ruling. I do like to rule. I just am not good at rulering. I think I just made up a word. Okay, anyway. So you would use this in the same way. You do need to cut a slit in the side though. Otherwise you're never going to get it off of your off of the strand. So you would just cut it to the size, right, that you want, the measurement that you want, and then cut down the side of this so that you can easily get this on and off of your bead stringing material. Joan says, yes, coffee straws are much better. They absolutely are. Coffee straws are much smaller, so you don't have this big, huge hole that you're contending with, right? But I mean, you just make do with what you've got. So, all right. Okay, so to get started with this, the very first thing we want to do is we want to come down to the end of our silk cord. And if you want to kind of pre-measure, you know, if you want your bracelet to, or your necklace to be a certain length, you can pre-measure this out, but keep in mind that it does take a little bit of length to make each one of the knots. So I don't really have an exact formula for that, but I'm just going to start at the bottom of this strand and just go until, you know, until it's the length that I want it to, or we run out of beads, whichever happens first. And of course mine has a big knot tied in the end because, I mean, why not? So let me untie this little guy. Come on now. Okay, so down on the end that does not have the needle, I'm just going to tie a knot. And I'm actually going to tie a sergeant's knot just because it's a little bit chunkier. Okay. So when I pull that down, I'm really kind of making sure that that knot is the shape that I want it to be, right? It sort of looks like a little bit of a barrel knot. Okay. Now I want to go ahead and my end with the needle, I want to thread on one of my little clamshells. And I feel a sneeze coming on. Hold on. Oh my goodness. Am I going to sneeze or am I not going to sneeze? Okay. Nope. Wait. Okay. I think it went away. Okay. I'm going to thread this on so that the opening is facing towards the end of the strand. Basically it's going to come over my knot, right? So I'm threading it on that direction. Whoops. That's not the right direction. Threading it on this direction, right? You want it to be open like a mouth going on to your strand. Okay. What size needle? So the needle is pre-attached to the silk cord that I'm using. So I'm not real sure what the size is of this needle, but it's a teeny beany little guy because it will get through a lot of gemstones. And you know how gemstones and pearls usually have a very small hole. So it's a very fine needle, but I'm not entirely sure of the size. All right. So when you bring that down, you're going to bring that down here to the knot that you created, right? I'm going to use a little bit of hypo cement. Oh, what a mess. And I'm going to put that in one side of my clamshell cup, just a little bit, right? I say that and look at this big glob, but part of that is just because that's what was on the tip here. You don't have to use the bead string glue, the hypo cement or whatever. I just like the extra security that it brings. Hold on. This is just a mess. I'm going to wipe the tip of this off. There we go. Okay. I just want a little dab and I need it to be inside the cup part of our clamshell so that when I close this clamshell over my knot is actually going to sit right on top of that little glue drop that I put in there. Okay. So Okay. Make sure your knot is pulled down. Okay. It's going to be sitting right inside that cup. And then close that with your fingers just to get it started, right? And then you want to come in with a pair of pliers very gently because you don't want to squish this guy flat. He needs to stay nice and round like a bead. Yeah, I'm using size 8 silk thread, guys. But you use whatever is going to work with your beads, right? That's the most important part. So just because that's what I'm using doesn't necessarily mean that's what you need to be using. Okay, so what we have now is we have our hook and we also have the end of our silk coming out the end. I'm going to leave both of those just like they are for now. Okay, I'm not doing anything to them. Actually, I take that back. I am going to I think probably the safest thing to do is just to go ahead and close this up. So I was just going to leave it. I'm going to pull that over to the side just a little bit and I'm going to cut that off. If you don't want to cut that off right now, you can. Just realize that as you're knotting, you're going to kind of have to contend with all of this extra business here at the end. And that's fine. We'll just go ahead and trim that off. So I'm trimming that right at the edge of the clamshell, okay? And if you can't get super close right now, that's okay. Wait until the end and come in and trim off as close to that as you possibly can. Mine still has a little bit sticking out. I can come in and trim that at any point, okay? I'm gonna use my round nose pliers. And just so this hook doesn't get hooked onto things as we're working, I'm going to roll that closed. And I'm rolling really small, okay? So that I'm actually rolling it into itself. Do you see how it's overlapping in there? That's what I want. I don't want to just close it down and make a simple loop out of it because the metal that this is made out of is not the strongest stuff in the world, okay? I will be the first one to admit that. I can admit it, I didn't make it. But I'm just telling you, it's really not super, super strong. And I worry that if my necklace gets hung on something, it's going to pull that loop open. So if you can double that loop up on itself like that, it doesn't have to be the entire thing, but if you can double it up like that, instead of just closing it like a simple loop, I feel like it gives it a little bit more security. Okay. So that's just my 2 cents on that part. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to put another knot on the other side of my clamshell here. So we're going to go through the steps just like we normally would. You can bend the tip of the clamshell and close it inside. I'm confused. I'm intrigued, but I'm confused. So why, but why? Please tell me why. I want to know. That sounds pretty cool. Tell me more about this, Stephanie. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a knot. I'm going to use my knotter tool to do it. We're going to treat this little guy just like a bead because he basically is. Okay, so I'm going to take the thread underneath my 2 fingers, wrap around, drop that little guy down into the loop that we made. Okay, I'm going to come in with my tool. And guys, if you missed the other projects using this tool, I highly recommend watching them on replay. Okay, I'm going to grab, put my finger there. Okay, pull up. And I just want to pull that knot right up next to our little clamshell guy. Okay, put the thread into the yoke. And then push up to deliver our knot. So now we've got knots on either side. That's not super necessary, but I don't know. For whatever reason, I like to have a knot right next to the end of this. It just feels more finished to me. Okay. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to use our spacer here. Whoops. That I just threw in the floor. I'm telling you, it's one of these days, you guys. And actually, I think for mine, do I want to do a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch? I think we'll do 3/4. I'm always second guessing myself. So it won't open on you. I was taught that in the pearl knotting class. So I'm still really confused. So what do you, so you loop it and then you're going to actually close part of that. You're going to have to show me, because that sounds awesome. Please tell me more. Stephanie, you're going to have to show me a picture or something. I want to know. I need to know these things. Okay, so I'm going to take my spacer here and just slide it on to my silk cord, okay? I'm going to slide that down right up next to my knot. It's not over my knot, but it's right next to my knot, okay? I'm going to knot right up against this just like I would if it were a bead. So we're going to treat it the exact same way, okay? I have my cord coming underneath my hand. I've got my 2 fingers. I'm going to wrap around to make a loop, right? My cords are crossing over here on the side of my index finger. I'm going to take this guy, drop him down, right? And then I'm going to come in, hook with my tool, and it's important, right? You got to hook in the same direction that your needle is curving. Hold on here. That's my question too. Sharon says, how do you connect to your clasp after that? I think that's what my biggest question about that is. Okay. And then pull down. Okay. So usually at this point, I'm pulling pretty hard because I'm pulling up against a bead. I don't want to pull super, super hard up against this because it does have that foam in it. Okay. It's just for spacing. It's not for crazy, insane strength here. I'm going to put the cord into the yoke and then push up and deliver the knot. Okay, so now when I take this guy away, which I just slide him off, now I have my knots are separated 3/4 of an inch from each other. Okay. Joan says, I will remind her, what are we talking about? Oh, materials for the project. So the materials for the project, guys, are usually listed with the event. So if you look at the information for the event, there's usually a list. This one was very kind of general. But most of the time I give you guys a list of materials ahead of time. All right, so we've got our knots perfectly spaced. I didn't have to do anything, crazy with that, to get it on or off the silk, which is the part that I like the best, right? All right, so now I'm going to take a bead, and we are going to pre-string a bunch of these, but I'm just showing you how the little spacers work for now. So I'm going to thread on a bicone. I'm going to thread on one of my pearls, and then I'm going to thread on a bicone. Okay. And then I'm going to bring those down. Okay. And they're going to sit right there. Now I'm going to knot. Okay. So cord around my fingers, drop them through the loop. Okay, now this time I don't need to use the little spacer. Hook with your tool, pull up, put that right in the yoke and up. Okay, and now we're knotted. Those guys are not going to go anywhere. But now I need some more space, right? So I'm just going to slide this guy onto the cord, slide him down right up next to the knot that I just made. Try not to cover that knot up, okay? And we're going to knot again. Wrap around your fingers, drop it all through. Okay, hook with your tool, pull up, and deliver your knot, and take it off. And now we're ready to put another set of beads. Okay, so that little foam thing is doing an amazing job, right? And it's the most simple little thing. You wouldn't think. It's so tiny. It's so small and unobtrusive, but the job that it does, gosh, it's so helpful because I don't have to bring my ruler in. I don't have to guess. I don't have to mark my cord with a marker and then accidentally make the knot and the marker mark is still showing, right? I'm going to have it evenly spaced. The measurements are going to be perfect every single time. Okay. So again, wrap around, drop the beads down, hook with the tool, pull the cord into the yoke, push up, and you're done, right? That's all. And it's going to be gorgeous. So why do we care to do this? Because the cord, the silk cord, is becoming part of the design. Now, this is where you can pick your cords, you know, depending on what your beads are, what colors you want. Beadalon offers a ton of colors in their silk cords. So you can go and look at the selection of the colors that are available. And instead of just using the white or the cream colors, you can use blue, you can use red, you can use purple. It's just beautiful, and it becomes part of the actual design. But you still have that gorgeous drape from the silk cord, which is awesome. Okay, let's see here. Where did you get those pearls? So I actually got these from Michael's. You guys know these days Michael's is like, that's the place where I do most of my shopping at the moment, because I'm teaching the Michael's classes. So I have lots of Michael's stuff on hand. But they come on a card, just some coin pearls. You don't get a lot. This was actually 2 cards, I believe, of the coin pearls. So you don't get a lot on one. And you do get some little glass pearls in between them as some spacers, but I just put those in a little bucket to save for later. And I'm just using these guys. But yeah, I got them from Michael's, and they were fairly inexpensive. But I got to tell you, the trick to shopping with Michael's is waiting until everything is on sale. I never pay full price. Don't tell the Michael's people that. I never pay full price with Michael's. And to be completely honest with you, when it comes to beads, I don't pay full price for anything. Unless it's something I really want, you know? But yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the straw. The straw is going to be a little bit more of a challenge, but you do it basically the exact same way. You're going to put it on to your cord, right? But see, the problem with a big straw is that it doesn't stay right up against the knot where you want it. So you're gonna struggle with it a little bit unless you're using a coffee straw. We can still make it work, right? Loop over, drop everything down, okay? And hook with the tool, and then pull up. Now, as I'm pulling up, because my straw is large, I kind of have to use my other hand to hold, right? So that the placement is right. And then I can take it off. So the straw is just if you're in a pinch. I still have the exact same measurement, but because my straw is big and slides all around, right, then it's just easier for me, I think, to use these guys or a coffee straw. But if all you've got is this guy, you can use it. Just know it's just going to take you a little bit more time, okay? It can be done. It's just you got to be a little bit more careful with where you're placing your knots. Okay, so now before we move any further, let's load this silk up, right? Because normally that's what I do. I like to load my silk up with all of my beads first. So I'm going to load up with my pattern, which is just a bicone, a pearl, and a bicone. Okay, another bicone, a pearl, and a bicone. So that's the way that I'm going to thread all of mine on. You just got to remember not to do pearl, bicone, because you'll end up and you won't have enough of the bicones to separate on either side of your pearls. Okay. All right. So let's load all of these up. So what are you guys making as I load all of my pearls onto my thread here? What's on your mat today? What are you guys working on? Have you guys tried the Pearl Knotter Tool yet? Have you bought one, ordered one, and it's on its way to you? I'm really excited to see the things that you guys are going to do with the knotting, because I know a lot of you out there either had a knotter tool and hadn't used it yet, or were convinced after these past few projects that you wanted one. Hi, Fern. Fern, we're stringing beads. Oh, Natalie just got hers. That's awesome. Joan's working on her loopy bracelet on the jewel loom. That's fun too.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me scroll back. Scroll back. Sharon says, I want one. Should I go? Whoa, excuse me. Should I go to the Beadalon website and grab one? Yes, you can. I think they have them on Amazon too. Which I should look because I have an affiliate link with Amazon. I should always look at that ahead of time, so that I can give you guys those links, but not lengths, but links. But yeah, on the Beadalon website, they have the Knotter Tool and the little spacers if they're not out of stock, but it is something that they carry on a regular basis. Okay, and then the question is, where do I find the videos to see what I have previously missed? Well, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. There are a couple of places you can look. You can always go to the Sara Ellis Designs Facebook page and scroll down. There's a little header that says videos, and you can click on it, and all of the videos live there on Facebook. So you can always watch the replays. Or you can go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where our dear friend Joan, who does so many amazing things for me, she uploads our Facebook Lives to the YouTube channel after the lives are over, so that I have a nice backup for them. They're always there, so in case something happens and Facebook decides that they don't want my videos anymore, they all live over on YouTube. And a lot of people have told me that they really enjoy watching on YouTube better to watch the replay, just because I think the functionality is a little bit easier than watching replays on Facebook. And I do have viewers that only watch me on YouTube because they don't do Facebook. So you've got two resources there. YouTube being probably the most trustworthy, I'll say. However, we've only started uploading videos over there over the past few months. So there are past projects from, when I very first started this Facebook Live journey that are not there. And those you just have to go to the the Facebook page to get there. All right, I'm getting close here to having all of them on. I just like to preload because then I can kind of get in a groove with my knots, and I don't have to stop every time and reload a bead and pull everything down. To me, it's just easier to do it all ahead of time. Using quite a few of the beads for this. I didn't realize how many I had. And I think these bicones are going to look really pretty throughout this necklace. And guys, don't snub your nose at Chinese crystals. I think that they are beautiful. I have found some Chinese crystals that, in my opinion, are very, very good quality. Swarovski, we're not gonna have access to Swarovski eventually. Probably sooner than later, it seems. So just from my jewelry making, I am not I'm not too good for Chinese crystals. That's all I'm saying. I feel like they're going to be a good substitute for those of us who love sparkle. It's gonna be, it's never going to be a replacement for Swarovski. There will be other companies that will come along, but I'm not too good to use a beautiful Chinese crystal on something, I feel like there was such a stigma attached to Chinese crystals for a while. So Ruth wants to know what size bicones. My bicones, I believe, are 6 millimeter. You know what? Let me double check that. I don't want to tell you the wrong size. I think they're 6 millimeter, but I could be completely wrong. They're 4. I'm glad I checked. They looked a little big for a 4, so I'm glad I checked. So my Bicones are 4mm, and my my silk cord is a size 8. But depending on what size, you know, pearls you're using, what size hole they have, that's really going to kind of help to determine what size silk you need. What about check crystals? Yeah, so check crystals are really, they're coming up in the world big time. That company, Preciosa or Preciosa, depending on how you say it, those are check crystals. And I got to tell you, the quality is nice, like really, really good. So, you know, I feel like we've got options. There will never be anything. I'm just pulling all these beads down. I will never, you know, be able to replace Swarovski just because it's, you know, kind of near and dear in my heart. But as far as the sparkle and the beauty is concerned, there are other things out there, guys. We're not going to miss our sparkle. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be different, but, you know. All right. So remember where we stopped, we had a knot that we actually did with our straw. I'm going to pull down my 3 beads right up to that knot, and you can see that beautiful spacing there. Okay, loop around, make my loop, drop everything down, hook with the tool, pull, and push up to deliver my knot. Okay, now we have to put on our little spacer, slide it right up next to the knot. Okay, drop those down. Anita says Potomac has their own crystals and they are stunning. I have not seen any of those in person, but I have heard good things about them. And I heard that Fire Mountain was making their own too, but I haven't seen them yet. Okay, just treat our little spacer just like a bead. And there's our space. And now we're ready to pull down 3 of our beads. And okay, we're just going to keep going. So you guys are going to get lots of knotting. You're going to see this knotter tool in action for a bit because that's really all there is to this, right? We're just going to keep going, dropping our beads down and making sure that we add our little spacer in between there. Now you can totally change this up, right? I'm just sticking with my 3 beads and my space that is 3/4 of an inch. But when you go to buy the little spacers, you do get both. So you get the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 of an inch. So you could make this with some of your spaces 3/4 and some of them a 1/2 inch. Like you could mix it up. You don't have to just do what I'm doing here, right? You can use different beads, different configurations for your beads, and then sometimes make them 3/4 of an inch apart, and then other times you can make them 1/2 inch. So, you know, it's up to you. Lots of choices, lots of choices. This design, you can also achieve the same results with your Supple Max. And it's, you know, it's like, it's a monofilament. So it's basically very similar to fishing line, right? It makes it disappear. So that's really a floating illusion style. That's going to make your beads look like they're just hanging in midair, which is a nice look. It doesn't knot nearly as well with the knotter tool, but it can be done. It's just a little tricky, but it does make a really beautiful illusion style design when you use it. That also kind of leads me to, since we're just nodding and talking here, these little spacer guys, you can use these in other ways, right? So let's say you're not doing a knotted design, but you're doing a stringing design, and you want to put these guys, you want to space out your designs on your bead stringing wire. So you string on some beads, and then you place this guy on there, right? And you, instead of a knot, put a crimp here, not on your silk cord, mind you, we're talking about bead stringing wire. Crimp here, put your beads on, crimp here, right? Put this guy next to the crimp, space out, do a crimp here. So in place of the crimps on our silk cord, you could use crimp beads on bead stringing wire and use these guys for the spacing, right? So there's a lot of different uses for these guys. I feel like, you know, a lot of times people look at these little items that companies come up with. Beadalon came up with this one and think that it is just a one and done, but really you can find different ways to use this guy to measure out things in your other designs. It doesn't just have to be used for knotting designs, which I like, right? Especially when it comes to measuring, because I eyeball things and it just doesn't. I'm really bad about that. Kelly says the clamshells with the double rings are on Amazon. Hooray! I'm going to have to go to Amazon and get some. Thank you, Kelly. That's awesome. All right, around my fingers to create my loop, dropping all of this down through the loop. And as you go, it becomes a lot longer, so it's a lot more to drop through there. Okay, you got to hook your thread, and you have to hook it this direction. People ask me all the time, okay, so I wrap around, can I not just hook it this way? Right? Because that's the direction that you're holding your tool. You've got your tool in your hand and you want to just grab it this way. Well, you can, but you're going to be fighting against the thread to pull that knot up. And it really just becomes a struggle that's not worth it. So if you'll grab the thread the right direction, you're really going to have an easier time with this. I promise. That's why I showed it to you that way, because I don't want this to be a challenge. I want it to be as easy as possible. Okay, drop all of that down. Okay, hook, pull up, put the thread into the yoke and deliver the knot. Take off the spacer. And see how quick and easy the spacers are? They're so easy to use. It's not a hassle to put them on and off, you know, which I like. If it were hard to get these on and off, then you can forget about it. I would just be eyeballing it. You know, I'm not about the struggle. Not when it comes to jewelry. I don't want to struggle. I want it to be fun and easy to do. Hi, Marge. Welcome in. You're in the right place for fun and silliness, but also education. Welcome, welcome. Wanda is our hall monitor. Okay, off. And then we're going to slide 2 beads down. Okay. I'm going to loop around, drop down. Okay. And then we're going to hook with a tool. I put my finger on here just to keep it from sliding off the end of the tool. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just know that when sometimes I'm pulling, see how close I am to the tip there when I'm pulling my knot? If I'm not really paying attention, then it slides right off, and then you have to take the knot apart, and it's just, you know, it's hard to do. So I always keep my finger on here to keep it on the tool until I've got it pulled up to the spot where I want it to go. Put your thread into the yoke and push the tool up, and you're good to go. Look how pretty this is, right? And we're not doing much of anything. We're just using our little spacers, and this is going to be such a beautiful necklace. It really is going to be gorgeous. And there's not a lot to it. With just the help of these little guys or your coffee straw or whatever you've got, you know, you can make a really beautiful design. But I don't want you to struggle with the knotter tool. I really, really don't. People have asked me questions all week about the knotter tool, and can I do it this way? And can I do it that way? And what about this? And what about that? And I love all of your questions. It means that you're excited about it and you want to know about it. please keep your questions coming. I just want to make sure that you don't struggle with it. Because I feel like for the longest time, the information about the knotter tool was out there, but it was, you know, it was conflicting because some people do it one way, some people do it another way. And if you grab that thread with in the wrong direction, it makes a huge difference. I'll show you just for instance, okay? So loop around your fingers, drop everything down. Okay. Now, like I said, some people just want to come at it and scoop, right? Because that's the way your needle is shaped. It's shaped like, okay, scoop it. You scoop it and pull your knot, but you're going to struggle against your knot. That time it didn't do too bad, right? You're going to stick it in there and push it, and that's all well and good, but now your knots are going in two different directions, which I know you can't necessarily tell, but you're going to struggle pulling up the thread, which is going to, you know, it is going to weaken that outside edge of your thread, but it really makes it so much easier if you go the direction that I showed you to go, because that's the way you're supposed to. I says so. Uh-oh, missed a bead. Hold on. Oh, this guy's trying to sneak in. All right. So we're going to come at it this way instead. So we're actually going behind. So where we've got our thread wrapped around our two fingers, right? We're coming back this way. So we're actually behind the thread and hooking it this direction. Put your finger on it, and that's it. It zips right up, and there's no struggle there. Okay. If you do it the other way, you're still going to get a knot, but after 2 or 3 times, you're going to get this terrible resistance that it's not worth the struggle. I promise. Look how pretty. Joan says, did anybody see the stringy pickle Sarah got for snack shenanigans? Oh my gosh. Did you guys see those? I'm stocking up. I'm stocking up on the snacks for the snack shenanigans. Everybody tell Marge what snack shenanigans is. Since she's new, let's tell Marge what she can expect from Sara Ellis Designs and our community of crazy. Yeah, Wanda says, I think of it as sneaking up on the thread from behind. Yeah, you're getting sneaky with it. And the only thing is that, you know, the longer your necklace becomes, the more you have to drop down in your loop. And, you know, that's, that's just kind of part of it. Okay, hook. Zipping it right up. It can be gross. Oh, goodness. So, Marge, just so you know, I have a series that I do here called Snack Shenanigans. And every once in a while, I try to do it about once a month when I can. Just for something fun, non-jewelry related, we all get together and I do a Facebook Live where I taste test snacks and foods from all over the world. And it is normally a lot of really disgusting things, and I make really funny faces and we all laugh. Turkey dinner, candy corn. Yeah, whoa. Those were bad. It's fun though. It's fun to just kind of break up the jewelry making with a little something extra. You know, this time in our lives, everybody needs a laugh. So it's fun. It's fun for you guys. Sometimes it's not exactly fun for me because I have eaten some really gross things, but it's funny nonetheless. And there are people who don't do jewelry making that just come to watch that. Which is also kind of weird when you think about it. But yeah. All right, sliding our little spacer guy on. Okay, I'm just going to slide him down. And remember, I'm not covering up the knot that I just made, right? I don't want to slide him up too far because then my measurement's going to be off just a little bit. So slide it right up to that knot. Okay, loop around your fingers, drop everything down, including that little spacer guy. Just be careful that he doesn't accidentally sneak off of the thread. Okay, come in with your knotter tool, hook in the direction that your needle is going. Go, pull right up against that guy. Don't pull super tight because he's not a bead. Okay, put the thread into the yoke, and then you're going to push up with your thumb, and that's going to deliver the knot, and you take this guy off. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Just feel like every few of these to slow back down a bit so that you can see them. Okay, wrapping around, dropping all of the beads down. We're getting close to the end of the beads here, so I'll show you guys how we finish this off, which basically is the exact same way that we started, but I want you to see the finished results because it really is so beautiful for something that is so simple, right? This is not a super technical or intricate design by any means, but the results are just really gorgeous. Okay, so we've got our spacing. You guys crack me up. I love you guys so much. I love it that you play along with my silliness. But that's what makes us such a strong community. Like, we all understand each other. We're all supportive of each other. We don't allow any bullying. We don't allow any snarkiness, right? We're here to support each other, to help educate each other, and to have a good time. In the meantime, keep each other company. There are so many of us that are home right now that, you know, are still not going out into the world. And that's, you know, that's sad and lonely place to be. And we have each other for that. Guys, the only place I ever go is the post office. That literally is like the adventure that I have. My weekly adventure is going to the post office. And now that I can have the post office come and pick things up, the only reason I go is to go to the P.O. box. So, you know, it's a lonely place, but we've built a really wonderful community here. And we take care of each other, that's for sure. And our laughing and silliness with our snack shenanigans is just part of that, right? It's all part of our mental health. Sometimes you got to stop learning and just do something for fun. All right, putting my spacer back on. All right, slide him down just right up to the knot, but not over the knot. You guys are so funny. All right, hooking with the tool, pulling up the slack, get that knot right up against the spacer into the yoke and deliver the knot. Slide that guy off. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more to go. 7 more, and then we will finish off this design, and I will show you guys what the finished piece looks like. The little bust I have is going to be pretty short for this design, but I think it'll be okay. We can wrap it around a few times. Okay, pull right up against that bead, put the silk cord into the yoke, push up to deliver the knot. Just a few more to go. I keep forgetting to bring my other hand knotted designs in here to show you guys. They're all in my jewelry box in my room. One of my favorite, this is one of my favorite things, is hand knotted. And I have some really cool check glass beads that I have hand knotted between, some really beautiful, expensive beads. But, you know, I got to tell you, even when it's just inexpensive check glass beads, you know, or just whatever you've got, you know, your favorites, when you knot between them, it really does something to them. You know, it just makes them feel so much more luxurious. the drape of the silk, there's just really not anything like it. I know I've said that a bunch, but it's because it's true, right? I wouldn't say it if it weren't true. Okay. Whoa. Looping through, drop that guy down, and then drop all of this down through there. Takes a little bit longer than when we first started, right? To drop all of that down in there. Okay, hook, pull up, deliver our knot. Valentine's mac and cheese for the snack shenanigans. Okay, I tell you what, somebody will send me some of those, as I haven't seen any, but truth be told, I haven't gone to the store either. First of all, do they have them on Amazon? If they do, I will order them. If they don't, somebody send me some and I'll make them for the snack shenanigans. I've also seen, you guys, the drinks on Amazon. Have you guys seen those? There's like grass flavored and bacon flavored, and they're sodas. And I've never ordered them, but I see them every time I'm like looking for things for snack shenanigans and think about them. Have you guys ever tried those? They remind me of the Jones sodas, but like with disgusting flavors. I've not tried those, but I'm curious. But yeah, I'll try the mac and cheese if somebody will point me in the direction of it. I think that's totally weird, but you guys know I would do it. I actually ordered, I'm saving up stuff for 2 snack shenanigans. So I'm kind of doubling up on my snacks, and I ordered a 1,000-year egg. Do you guys know what that is? It's a duck egg. And they call it 1,000-year or 100-year. I've heard it called a lot of things. Where it's not really 100 years old, but I mean, it might as well be when you see the pictures of it. It hasn't arrived yet. It's coming straight from wherever. I had to order it from overseas, so it hasn't made it here yet. It's going to be disgusting, just so you know. Even worse than the pickles, I'm pretty sure. But who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong. It could be delicious. I doubt it, but we'll find out, won't we? Kathy says, I know what that is, and nope. It's a black egg. I mean, really? It's just seeing the picture. I'm afraid it's going to be one of those that I open and I won't have the courage. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. I just have to say, like, if you came into this office and saw office, studio, whatever you want to call it, and looked at the shelves, like, I probably need to do an updated studio tour, actually, speaking of, because I have cleaned out and changed a lot of things. But I have my shipping station. In my shipping station is where I keep all my disgusting snacks. And there's a box over there. So anybody who doesn't know that and comes in this room, it's like there's jewelry making stuff everywhere. And then this whole like little section of just really nasty things, like ketchup flavored cotton candy. I'm saving that one. All right, we've got 3 more to go. Okay. Thank you guys for hanging out with me while we do all of these. I know this is a long project. I've lost about 20 of you along the way. Some people ducked out. They were like, okay, I'm tired of watching her do the same thing. But for those of you who have stuck around, we are going to get to the end of this and finish it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna speed up just a little bit just so that we really can get through this here. Okay. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's projects, guys. I hope that you will enjoy our Feel Good Friday designs tomorrow. We're doing 3 pairs of easy earrings. I'll have kits that you can purchase if you want to make the exact pairs, or you can take the design ideas and use your own beads from your own stash to recreate them. And I'm excited for you guys to see them. They're pretty cool. All right, 1 more to go. What time tomorrow? 1 p.m. Eastern. You can always catch me at 1 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And eventually I'm going to do Mondays too, but I'm so overwhelmed with things at the moment. I have not been able to commit to the Mondays yet. And guys, I have a virtual class with Michaels this weekend too. That is 2 p.m. Eastern time over on the Michaels website. We are doing an easy memory wire cuff bracelet with oval memory wire. If you would like to join for that class, it's completely free. Just go over and sign up to grab your space. Our last class last Saturday, we had 350 people from start to finish. Remember when I started, I only had 80 people. Only 80 students, and in just a matter of a month, I've gone all the way up to 350. So I'd like to thank you guys for that. Okay, so now we're at the end, and we want to finish this off the exact same way that we started, okay? But we have to thread this guy on in the opposite direction. Actually, no, the first thing we need to do is make our knot. I forgot, because this guy's got he's got a knot first. So 1 more knot with our tool here. Uh-oh. Yeah, 350 people. That's the biggest class that I've ever taught. So it was pretty exciting to see. And the funny thing is that I don't know that there are 350 of you until after the class is over. So I have no idea. It's a surprise to me. Okay, now we're going to work out the end of this here. So I did my spacing here, okay, and put a knot. Now we're going to thread on our clamshell, and this time we're threading him on the opposite direction because we're going to have to do the knot on the outside edge, right? So we're sliding him down just like that, okay? Now, you can use your knotter tool for this if you want to, or you can just do an overhanded knot. I'm actually going to switch hands and use the shorter end. Okay, and use the tool just so that I can try to get it as close as possible. Uh-oh. No, behave. Okay. And I really can't, well, I guess I can. That worked out okay. You can use the tool for that because I just did, but you don't have to, okay? You can just do an overhanded knot here. And now, again, we're going to come in with that hypo cement and just put it on one side of the clamshell so that when you close this up, that knot is going to sit right on top of that little dab of glue. Okay. I'm going to close mine with my fingers and then come in with some pliers to close it down even more. Okay. Now I don't cut my silk ahead of time. You can, but I just trim my silk right up against the edge of the clamshell. So it's really just whatever works for you, but I'm going to trim that right up against the edge of the clamshell, and I can come back in later with something a little bit sharper and trim off the little fuzzies that are sticking out there. And again, I'm going to come in with my round nose pliers and roll this closed into a loop, and I want to roll mine over itself, right? You see how it's overlapping itself a little bit. Now, all I have to do is just add my hardware, and you can add whatever you want to. I'm just gonna stick with the standard lobster clasp and 2 jump rings and call it a day. But more than anything, I want you guys to see how pretty this is finished. And we did this entire really long necklace in, you know, the amount of time that we are normally together. So what, about an hour, 45 minutes, give or take, without all the chatting that I do. So the point is that it doesn't take a really long time to put this kind of design together. And these are beautiful for layering, right? This kind of long style knotted necklace. It's really a great way to layer, because you can double this around your neck if you want to, or you can leave it long and then you can layer on the rest of your neck mess to go with it. And it's just so, so pretty. All right, so I'm going to turn you guys around and we'll take a look at this guy. Yeah, Joan just put up the registration for my Michael's class for Saturday. If you want to come. Yes, I adjust myself when I see myself again. I can't help it. Can't help it. All right, so let's hold this up. So, wow, let's measure. I'm curious to know how long this actually is. It's a pretty long necklace. 22, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 inches. So, and I still have leftover silk cord, right? But I used all of the pearls that I had, and we ended up with 39 inches. If I had just a little bit more, I could have had an even 40 for our necklace. You can see it is quite a bit bigger, but we can loop it over and you can see just how pretty. I'm saying you cannot go wrong with that. That's gorgeous. It makes me excited. Can you tell? Like that's classic. That's going to last forever and a million years. Pearls are never going to go out of style. The coin pearls look absolutely stunning when they are knotted like this with the spaces in between them. I'm so glad pearls are in style for the spring and summer. I know I've said that a bunch, but it's so true because they're so beautiful and they're pieces that are going to last forever, right? They're always going to be in style. You can hand these down to your family members. It's on silk cord. It's a real pearl. It's hand knot. It's going to last. Like, unless you decide that you want to lasso the ceiling fan and swing around with it. If you take care of this guy, it's gonna last forever. I love it doubled too. So, whoa, back up. Wanda says I love it doubled. I love it doubled too. Oh goodness. It is very classy. Very classy indeed, right? So, yeah. Doesn't have to be pearls though, right? Use your gemstones, use your glass beads, use whatever you like. Use your wooden beads, use your shells. I could go on and on. I won't though. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Thank you for joining me. Do not forget that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to have our Feel Good Friday. Feel Good Friday. We're going to be doing 3 easy peasy pumpkin squeezy earrings projects. I'll have some kits if you want to grab those up. They are priced very nicely, I must say. But if not, that's okay too, right? You can recreate them with your own beads from your own stash. That's what Feel Good Friday is all about. It's not hard stuff. It's just beautiful stuff, right? So that's it. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of the afternoon. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.